The ultimatum, the silent approach, Captain James. Rivera sat in the command chair of the Orbital Defense Station, Sentinel-7, watching the stars through the massive viewport. His coffee had gone cold an hour ago, but he barely noticed. The sensors had detected something impossible. 17 massive vessels had appeared at the edge of human territory without warning. No jump signatures. No energy trails. Just sudden, terrifying presence. The comm officer turned to him, her face pale. "Captain, incoming transmission. It's on every frequency simultaneously. They want us to receive it." James set down his cup carefully. After 20 years in the Defense Force, he had learned to recognize moments that would change everything. This was one of them. Put it through. All stations, full alert status. Wake up, Earth Command. Tell them we have visitors. The main screen flickered to life. The being that appeared was unlike anything in human records. Tall and armored in what seemed like living metal, with eyes that glowed like distant stars. Behind it, James could see a bridge filled with similar creatures, all watching with expressions he could not read. "I am Supreme Commander Krexith of the Zaltharan Empire," the being said. Its voice came through perfectly translated, each word carrying weight like falling stones. "For 3,000 years, my people have maintained order in this sector of space. We have watched 30 civilizations rise and fall. We have seen species destroy themselves and others in foolish conflicts. Now we have found you." James kept his face neutral, but his mind was racing. 3,000 years. 30 civilizations. The implications were staggering. The demand Krexith continued, and his tone grew colder. "Your species has been evaluated. In merely 200 years of space travel, you have colonized 47 worlds. You have built weapons that terrify even your own people. Your history shows 5,000 years of continuous warfare. Your entertainment glorifies violence. Your children play games of combat before they can properly speak." The Supreme Commander leaned forward. "Most concerning is your unpredictability. Other species follow patterns we understand. They wage war for resources, territory, or survival. But humans wage war for ideas, for pride, for reasons that make no logical sense. You are dangerous not because you are strong, but because you are chaotic." James felt anger rising, but forced it down. Let them talk. Let them reveal their intentions. "Therefore," Krexith said, "the Zaltharan Empire offers you the following terms. You will dismantle all military installations beyond your home system. You will submit your technological development to our oversight. You will accept Zaltharan administrators on each of your colonies. You will limit your population expansion to rates we approve. In return, we will allow your species to continue existing under our protection." The screen showed a new image. The Zaltharan fleet in full display. 17 massive warships, each one larger than anything humanity had ever built. Weapons that could crack planets. Shields that had never been breached. An empire that had conquered stars while humans were still learning to make fire. "You have 72 hours to comply," Krexith said. "After that time, we will begin enforcing these terms by force. We do not wish to destroy you. We merely wish to contain you. The choice is yours, but understand this is not a negotiation. This is inevitability." The transmission ended. Council emergency within an hour. Every major human leader was connected through secure channels. President Sarah Mitchell of Earth spoke first, her voice tight with controlled fury. "Options. I want every option on the table right now." General Marcus Webb pulled up tactical displays. He was 70 years old, scarred from the colony wars, and had forgotten more about combat than most officers would ever learn. Military assessment first. They have 17 capital ships. We have 300 orbital platforms, 800 defensive satellites, and 400 combat vessels scattered across our territory. On paper, we are outmatched in individual ship power. Their technology is centuries ahead of ours. So we surrender? Someone asked. Marcus smiled, and it was not a pleasant expression. I did not say that. I said on paper we are outmatched. But I have been fighting for 50 years, and I have learned something important. Superior technology does not guarantee victory. It only guarantees the opening advantage. He zoomed in on the Zaltharan fleet positions. They positioned their ships to intimidate us, spread out across our territory to show their reach. But they made a critical error. They assumed we think like they do. They assumed we would see their power and submit. They studied our history, but did not understand it. President Mitchell leaned forward. Explain. They think war is about forcing surrender, Marcus said. They see it as a tool to achieve objectives. But for humans, war is something different. It is a test, a crucible. We do not fight just to win. We fight to see what we are made of. Every war we have ever fought, we learned something. Every defeat taught us. Every victory made us stronger. He pulled up historical records. Ancient battles, medieval sieges, world wars, colony conflicts. They counted our wars and saw violence. They should have seen our greatest teacher. We have spent our entire history learning how to fight outnumbered, outgunned, and outmatched. They want to teach us a lesson about power. We are about to teach them one about persistence. The debate lasted for hours, but in the end, the decision was unanimous. Humanity would not submit, could not submit. It went against everything humans were, everything they had built, everything they had survived to become. Captain James Rivera received the final orders directly from General Webb. The old warrior's face on the screen looked tired but determined. Captain, you are in position to respond to the Zaltharan ultimatum. Earth Command has decided on the official response, and we have chosen you to deliver it. James straightened in his chair. What are my orders, General? Tell them the truth, Webb said simply. Tell them what they are about to face. And Captain, make sure every ship in their fleet hears it. Make sure every species in the galaxy hears it. What happens next needs witnesses. James understood. This was not just about the Zaltharan Empire. This was about every species that might ever threaten humanity. This was about drawing a line that would never be crossed again. Human. Response. Captain Rivera opened a channel on all frequencies. His hands were steady despite the magnitude of the moment. Behind him, his crew worked in focused silence, preparing for what was coming. Supreme Commander Krexif of the Zaltharan Empire, James began, his voice calm and clear. We have received your ultimatum. We have reviewed your terms. We have considered your fleet and your threats. Earth Command has authorized me to deliver humanity's official response. He paused, letting the moment stretch. In his mind, he saw the faces of everyone who had fought for humanity's freedom. Soldiers who died on distant worlds. Colonists who built homes on hostile planets. Children who would inherit the stars. You studied our history and saw violence, James continued. You counted our wars and deemed us too dangerous to remain free. You looked at our weapons and feared what we might become. But you made one critical error in your evaluation. You saw what we fight with, but you did not understand why we fight. Asterisk, his voice grew harder, edged with something ancient. You have 3,000 years of conquest. We have 10,000 years of survival. You wage war to expand. We wage war because someone told us we could not be free. You fight with superior technology. We fight with something you cannot measure or understand. We fight with the knowledge that surrender is not in our vocabulary. James leaned forward, staring directly into the camera. You have given us 72 hours to submit. You have surrounded our worlds with your fleet. You have threatened everything we have built. So let me be absolutely clear about what happens next." The pause stretched for 5 full seconds. "Since you chose battle," Captain James Rivera said, each word deliberate and final, "let us show you how it is done." He cut the transmission. Battle stations across human space. The response was immediate. Every military installation went to full combat status. Civilian stations began evacuation procedures while simultaneously revealing hidden weapon systems. Mining operations in asteroid belts activated defensive protocols that had been planned for decades. On Mars, Governor Chun received the activation codes and smiled grimly. The colony had 8 million civilians, but it also had something the Zaltharan did not know about. Every dome city had been built with dual purposes. Every civilian facility had military capability hidden within its structure dock at Jupiter Station. Commander Sarah Walsh watched the Zaltharan ships positioning themselves for attack. They moved with confidence, certain of their superiority. They had no idea that the massive fuel depot they were approaching was actually a weapons platform disguised as civilian infrastructure. General Webb stood in Earth Command, watching tactical displays light up across the solar system. His staff worked with practiced efficiency, coordinating hundreds of vessels and thousands of defensive systems. "They think they are fighting a military," he said quietly to his second-in-command. "They are about to learn they are fighting a species. Every human out there knows what is at stake. Every civilian, every soldier, every colonist. We are not defending territory. We are defending the right to be free." The countdown began. 72 hours until the Zaltharan deadline. 72 hours to prepare for a war that would define humanity's place in the galaxy. But in his heart, Marcus Webb knew the truth. The war had already begun the moment humanity refused to bow. Now it was just a matter of teaching the Zaltharan Empire why humans did not have a word for acceptable defeat. The stars watched and waited. Soon they would witness something the galaxy had never seen before. Not superior technology or overwhelming force, but something far more dangerous. They would witness humanity unchained. The lesson opening moves. The Zaltharan fleet moved with precision that spoke of centuries of military dominance. Supreme Commander Krexith watched from his flagship as battle groups separated to strike multiple human positions simultaneously. It was a strategy that had worked against 29 previous civilizations. Overwhelming force applied at critical points. Swift victory that minimized casualties while demonstrating absolute superiority. "All groups report ready status," his tactical officer announced. The being's armor gleamed under the bridge lights, displaying confidence patterns in its living metal surface. Human defensive positions identified. They are dispersed and vulnerable. Estimated time to complete subjugation is 48 hours. Krexith nodded slowly. The humans had refused surrender, but he felt no anger about it. Young species always needed to learn the hard way. Better a quick, decisive defeat now than a prolonged conflict later. He would be merciful. Destroy only military targets. Show them the futility of resistance. Then rebuild their society under proper guidance. "Begin operations," he commanded. "Remember, we are teachers, not destroyers. Disable their weapons, scatter their fleets, and they will understand." The first strike targeted the asteroid belt mining operations. 20 Zaltharan warships appeared from their advanced jump technology, weapons charged and ready. The human mining stations looked pitiful by comparison. Small facilities built around asteroids, civilian vessels moving between them. No obvious military presence. Fleet Captain Vorn led the assault group. He broadcast the standard warning. "Human vessels, power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will result in destruction. You have 2 minutes to comply." The response came from a grizzled voice with an accent Vorn did not recognize. "This is Mining Station Tycho 7. We hear your warning. Here is our response. Come and take it." Vorn felt something like disappointment. Why did they always choose the hard path? All ships, disable the station. Minimal force. That was when everything went wrong. Unexpected resistance. Mining vessels suddenly accelerated with thrust signatures that made no sense for civilian craft. They were not fleeing. They were attacking. But more than that, they were attacking in ways that violated every principle of space combat. Vorn understood. One mining ship, supposedly designed for slow asteroid processing, suddenly revealed hidden engines and rammed directly into his escort vessel. The impact was catastrophic, but not because of the collision itself. The mining ship had been loaded with refined metals and industrial explosives. It detonated like a massive bomb, taking the escort vessel completely offline. Evasive maneuvers. Vorn shouted, but the humans were already inside his formation. More mining ships, each one a flying bomb, each pilot apparently willing to die to take a Zaltharan vessel with them. The asteroids themselves opened fire. What appeared to be simple mining lasers suddenly revealed military-grade targeting systems. The beams were not powerful enough to penetrate Zaltharan shields, but they did not need to be. They targeted sensors, communications arrays, anything exposed, then the real attack began. Small pods launched from hidden positions throughout the belt. Thousands of them. His sensors could not track them all. They swarmed over Zaltharan ships like insects, attaching to hulls and burning through armor with cutting torches that were never designed for combat, but worked devastatingly well. "This is civilian infrastructure." Vorn transmitted to the human commander. "You are violating galactic conventions by militarizing protected facilities." The response was cold. "Conventions we never signed. And you started this when you threatened our freedom." A massive explosion rocked Vorn's flagship. One of the mining vessels had struck their primary shield generator. The ship was not destroyed, but suddenly it was vulnerable. Immediately, dozens of those small pods swarmed toward the damaged section. Vorn ordered a retreat. His 20 ships had disabled most of the human vessels, but at a cost he had never anticipated. 4 Zaltharan warships destroyed. 8 more damaged. Against mining stations and civilian craft, his report to Supreme Commander Krexith was filled with disbelief. "Sir, they weaponized everything. Every tool became a weapon. Every civilian became a soldier. They fought with tactics I have never encountered. No honor codes. No protected targets. Just pure, calculated violence. The trap springs across human space, the pattern repeated. Every Zaltharan attack succeeded in its immediate objective, but paid a price far higher than calculated. At Mars Colony, Zaltharan forces found themselves fighting not just military installations, but entire cities that transformed into fortresses. Governor Chun had activated protocols that turned agricultural domes into weapons platforms, civilian transports into missile boats, and ordinary colonists into coordinated resistance fighters. But the true trap was not in any single location. It was in the Zaltharan fleet's greatest strength, turned into their most catastrophic weakness. General Marcus Webb watched from Earth Command as the Zaltharan computer networks began to fail. The virus had been uploading since the moment of first contact, hidden in every transmission, every sensor scan, every communication exchange. The Zaltharan had integrated computer systems that allowed perfect coordination across their entire fleet. Humans had turned that integration into a highway for warfare. Cyber warfare teams report successful infiltration of 87% of enemy vessels. His intelligence officer announced, "We have root access to their tactical networks, communications, and in some cases, life support systems." Marcus allowed himself a small smile. "Do not shut them down." Not yet. Let them see what is happening. Let them understand how deeply we have penetrated their systems. Then we show them what real cyber warfare looks like. Supreme Commander Krexith received the reports with growing horror. His ships were reporting systems malfunctions across the entire fleet. Weapons firing randomly. Shields dropping without command. Navigation systems plotting impossible courses. And worst of all, ships were beginning to identify each other as hostile targets. How is this possible? He demanded. Our cybersecurity is centuries more advanced than human technology. His chief technician's armor patterns showed deep distress. Commander, it is not about advancement. It is about experience. The humans have been fighting cyber warfare since before they left their planet. While we developed these systems as tools, they perfected them as weapons. Their virus is not sophisticated. It is brutal, efficient, and designed by people who have been hacking each other's systems for hundreds of years. Krexith watched his tactical display dissolve into chaos. Sever all network connections. Every ship operates independently. Sir, that will reduce our combat effectiveness by 60%. Do it anyway. We are fighting blind right now. Breaking point the battle for Jupiter Station was where the Zeltheran Empire finally understood what they faced. Commander Sarah Walsh had been preparing for this moment her entire career. The station looked like a massive fuel depot, vulnerable and valuable. The Zeltheran committed a full battle group to capture it intact. They did not know that Jupiter Station had been built as the ultimate trap dot as Zeltheran ships moved into position. Sarah activated systems that had cost humanity 10 years and billions of credits to build. The fuel storage tanks opened to reveal magnetic railguns that could fire projectiles at relativistic speeds. The civilian habitation modules deployed missile batteries that had been hidden for decades. The maintenance docks released drone swarms that had been built with one purpose: overwhelming enemy defenses through sheer numbers. But the real surprise was Jupiter itself. Humanity had been mining the gas giant's atmosphere for decades, collecting hydrogen for fusion reactors. What the Zeltheran did not know was that those same collection systems could be weaponized. Sarah had spent 3 years developing the technique, and now she unleashed it. Massive electromagnetic fields channeled hydrogen directly from Jupiter's atmosphere, compressed it to fusion densities, and fired it like a weapon toward the Zeltheran fleet. It was not precise. It was not elegant. It was a barely controlled fusion explosion directed at enemy ships, powered by the largest planet in the solar system, Asterisk. The Zeltheran fleet at Jupiter Station suffered 70% casualties in the first 10 minutes of engagement. The survivors retreated in complete disorder, their formations shattered, their confidence broken. Supreme Commander Krexith received the report in silence. Then he did something he had not done in 3,000 years of military service. He requested a direct communication with the human leadership. The truth emerges general. Marcus Webb appeared on Krexith's screen, and the Zeltheran commander saw something in the human's eyes that he finally understood. Not hatred, not even anger, just cold, calculated determination. "You have proven your point," Krexith said. "Your species is more dangerous than we anticipated, but surely you understand you cannot win. We still outnumber you. Our technology is still superior. This conflict only grows more costly for both sides." Marcus leaned back in his chair. "You are right that you outnumber us. You are right that your technology is superior. But you are wrong about everything else. Explain." "You have 3,000 years of conquest," Marcus said. 3,000 years of species looking at your fleet and surrendering. You think war is about forcing submission. You wage it to achieve objectives. Win quickly, minimize casualties, demonstrate superiority. It is logical. It is efficient. It is how civilized species behave. His expression hardened. But we are not civilized the way you understand it. We have 10,000 years of something else. 10,000 years of survival against impossible odds. We fought nature when it tried to kill us. We fought each other when we ran out of external enemies. We fought diseases, starvation, extinction events, and our own worst instincts. And we never stopped learning. Krexith felt a chill that his species should not be capable of experiencing. What are you saying? I am saying you made a fundamental error in judgment, Marcus replied. You studied our history and saw violence. You should have seen adaptation. Every war we fought, we learned something new. Every defeat taught us what not to do. Every victory showed us what worked. For 10,000 years, we have been perfecting the art of warfare, not because we love it, but because we had to master it to survive. He pulled up displays showing Zaltharan casualties. You came here to teach us a lesson about power, but we have been teaching you a different lesson. One about persistence, about creativity, about what happens when you threaten a species that has never learned how to accept defeat. Final understanding, Supreme. Commander Krexith looked at the tactical displays showing his fleet scattered across human space. He had started with 17 capital ships and supporting vessels. Now he had 11 capital ships, many damaged, and he was no closer to subjugating humanity than when he began. More than that, he saw the reports from across the galaxy. Other species were watching this conflict, some with interest, some with concern, some with calculations about what it meant for galactic power structures. What do you want? Krexith asked quietly. Withdraw, Marcus said simply. Leave our space. Never return with threats. If you want to trade, we will trade. If you want to share knowledge, we will share. But if you want to conquer, you will learn the same lesson every human enemy has learned throughout history, which is that we do not know how to quit, that we will turn every tool into a weapon, that we will fight with whatever we have, however we can, for as long as it takes, that we will pay any price and bear any burden to remain free. Marcus leaned forward. You have superior technology. We have superior motivation. And in the long run, motivation matters more. Krexith understood finally. This was not about winning or losing in the traditional sense. This was about cost. Every day this conflict continued, humanity learned more about Zaltharan technology and tactics. Every battle made them more dangerous. And they showed no signs of breaking Dot. He could continue the war. Probably could eventually win through sheer attrition. But at what cost? How many ships? How many years? And what would he face at the end? Humans who had learned even more about fighting technologically superior enemies. We will withdraw, Krexith said. But the galaxy will hear of this. Other species will know that humans are dangerous. Marcus smiled without humor. Good. Let them know. Let them understand that we fight to be left alone. That we do not seek conflict, but will not avoid it. That we are dangerous only to those who threaten us. And most importantly, let them know what happens when someone gives humanity an ultimatum. What happens? We remind them that humans did not climb to the top of the food chain on our own planet by accepting limitations others imposed on us. We did it by refusing to accept that anything was impossible. You wanted to contain us. Instead, you showed the galaxy why that can never work. Aftermath. Zaltharan fleet withdrew over the next 72 hours. Supreme Commander Krexith submitted his report to the Empire's High Council. It was honest and brutal. Humanity could not be subjugated through conventional warfare. They adapted too quickly, fought too unconventionally, and possessed motivation that made them willing to pay any price. The report concluded with a recommendation that would change galactic politics. Propose alliance, not conquest. Humanity's creativity in warfare suggests equal creativity in other fields. Better to have them as partners than enemies. On Earth, Captain James Rivera stood in the same command chair where he had delivered humanity's refusal to submit. The stars looked the same as they had before, but something fundamental had changed. Humanity had been tested by a 3,000-year-old empire and refused to break. General Marcus Webb addressed the assembled defense forces via holographic transmission. We did not seek this conflict. We did not want to prove ourselves through violence. But when we were given no choice, we showed the galaxy what it means to be human. We showed them that technology without motivation is just tools. That numbers without determination is just arithmetic. That conquest without understanding your enemy is just failure waiting to happen. He paused, looking at faces from across the solar system. Soldiers, civilians, colonists. All of them had fought. All of them had risked everything. The Zaltharan came here to teach us our place in the galaxy, Marcus said. Instead, they learned theirs. They learned that some species cannot be conquered. Some spirits cannot be broken. Some fights are never worth starting because the enemy will never stop fighting back. Across human space, the message was clear. Humanity had earned its freedom not through superior power, but through superior will. They had faced an empire that had conquered 30 civilizations and made it retreat. The lesson was brutal, but necessary. And the galaxy would remember it for centuries to come. When you threatened humanity with ultimatums, you get only one response. Since you chose battle, let us show you how it is done. And humanity always kept its promises. End of story *.